pretty for the camera.
And you're on.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out to my speech tonight. It's a persuasive speech about the importance of childhood immunizations, and I appreciate every single one of your presence. It means a lot to me. So let's get started. Can you imagine worrying every year about the possibility of someone in your community contracting polio? Do you send your child to school wondering if they will receive a notice about a measles outbreak? Or are you concerned that a family member may contract a childhood disease that could cause life-threatening complications? Do you have a family member who suffers lifelong consequences of one of these vaccine-preventable diseases? Well, with that said, there was a time in the not-so-distant past where all of these fears were real until the introduction of childhood immunizations. Unfortunately, there is now a dangerous trend among many parents to not have their children vaccinated. Today, I would like to begin by discussing some of the myths behind this trend. Then we will further go into the statistical benefits of vaccinations and their importance in controlling the occurrence of childhood diseases. Finally, we will briefly cover the options in how to get your children vaccinated properly and in a timely manner. I will start by discussing these myths. There has been a lot of controversy in the recent years concerning childhood immunizations and its possible dangers. In a recent report, the Mayo Clinic addressed some of these myths. Perhaps one of the most debated myths, and probably the most popular myth, is that childhood vaccines cause autism. That is widely a myth. Fact. Let's go with the fact. This first circulated after a publication of Dr. Andrew Wakefield. However, the publication was debunked and retracted in 2010. Dr. Wakefield lost his license and was convicted of fraud for this claim. Now let's go and discuss, in a recent study, there was a study that they said that we can detect autism as early as 2 months. Well, I'm a new mother. I know that my child was first vaccinated in 2 months. So we can actually detect autism almost at the same time or even before our children are vaccinated. So this myth is exactly that, a myth. Okay, let's go on to the second myth. Smallpox and polio have disappeared and so there is no need to vaccinate. Fact, vaccines are the reasons that the diseases have disappeared. Currently in Wales, where Dr. Wakefield is from, there is a measles epidemic because so many did not get the MMR following Dr. Wakefield's publication. So currently there is an epidemic in the area that Dr. Wakefield practices and was where he publicized this finding he so happened to have. And now there's a measles outbreak. On to myth 3. Vaccines contain toxins. Where it is not necessarily a myth, but because vaccines do contain some level of toxins, but however, a pear has 600 times more formaldehyde than a vaccine does. There is a disease in the dose, but is at a such low level it would never reach toxicity. So, if we were to actually get vaccinated and we worried about the toxins in it, then why does everybody still get flu shots and pneumonia shots? Because it's going to still have some sort of disease in it. Why do we still get flu shots? I can bet you that these same parents that are not getting their children vaccinated are still getting the flu shot. Just want to throw that out there. So now that I have uncovered the facts behind the myths, let us look at how to get these children vaccinated. I want everyone to know. I know everyone wants to do what is in the best interest of their child, and the following statistics will show you the crucial importance of immunizations. In the past, childhood diseases such as measles, mumps, polio, and whooping cough, and meningitis were common and routinely killed many people. According to the Centers of Disease Control website, up to 20,000 cases of polio reported in the U.S. every year before the vaccine was available. Annual epidemics left victims with lifelong consequences such as braces, crutches, and wheelchairs. One of its victims was President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had polio as a child. It left him dependent on crutches and a wheelchair for the rest of his life. In the 1980s, there was a global effort to eradicate polio. As a result of this effort, only 3 countries remain epidemic for polio today. I say we're doing pretty good, huh? Before the measles vaccine, nearly everyone in the U.S. contracted measles at some point in life. Measles were responsible for about 450 deaths a year between the years 1953 and 1963. Complications from measles resulted in ear infections, pneumonia, and encephalitis, which is the swelling of the brain. As a child, my aunt had a severe case of the German measles today, and today, 40 years later, she still has hearing issues, and she still has multiple ear infections every year related to the measles she had as a child. Measles is one of the most infectious diseases in the world. However, the U.S. has a 99% reduction compared in the pre-vaccine era. Prior to the Hib meningitis vaccine, there were about 20,000 cases of Hib meningitis each year. At one time, Hib meningitis killed 600 children each year. Many victims of Hib meningitis, primarily children, still have deafness, seizures, or mental retardation. One of my cousins contracted meningitis about 25 years ago, and as a result is dead. Since the introduction of the Hib meningitis vaccine in 1987, which I think is about the time maybe he contracted meningitis, the cases have dropped 98%. There are just a few examples of vaccine-preventable diseases and their statistics. The government CDC website offers more detailed information. So I highly recommend please go to that website. They not only do the vaccines, but also upcoming diseases and possible viruses. Now that you know the benefits of having childhood vaccinations, let's briefly discuss how to get these children vaccinated. In the state of Louisiana, there are several options for ensuring that your children are vaccinated on schedule. Louisiana has several state-run health units where children can receive their vaccines. There is also a LeChip program for uninsured and low-income children available in Louisiana. Doctors who participate in this program will provide the immunizations, and your family doctor or pediatrician can also do the immunizations for insured children. All of these immunization records are put into a statewide database, which makes accessibility and scheduling of immunizations easy and manageable. I also think there is also a national database that we also put these records in as well, because I do have some of my patients come in who are from other states because of the military, and we can still access their shot records. As you can see, it is vitally important to have children vaccinated.
Hey, Mommy.
Not only does it protect them from vaccine-preventable diseases, but it also keeps them from spreading these diseases to others. We have discussed the myths concerning childhood immunizations. now the statistics and benefits doing vaccinations, and we have also covered how to make sure your child is vaccinated on schedule. I have talked about some of my family's experiences with childhood diseases and their consequences. I'm sure all of you probably have had similar circumstances with some of your own family members for suffering the long-term effects of these childhood diseases. Let me leave you with this brief quote from the CDC website. It proves the effectiveness of childhood vaccinations. Immunization protects future generations. Vaccines have reduced and in some cases eliminated many diseases such as smallpox, and in some cases eliminated many diseases that have killed or severely disabled people just a few generations ago. For example, the smallpox vaccination eradicated that disease worldwide. Your children don't have to get smallpox shots anymore because the disease no longer exists. If we continue to vaccinate now and vaccinate completely, parents in the future may be able to trust that some diseases of today will no longer be able to harm their children in the future. And that's my speech. Is there any questions? Anything anybody would like to add?
Come on, Mommy. Mommy. I'll help
You might as well introduce your kid.
Okay.
I'll turn.
And here is the main reason for my speech today, because I highly recommend it.
Hey, Trenton.
Say hey.
Oh, you got to do the film us.
Yeah.
Oh, turn.
I thought it was funny when she said one of your own family members because we're all the same family.
I'm going.
Yeah, go ahead and blow my speech on camera.
You did good.
And going these wars.
Yeah, you did. It was really good.
Going in these wars.
Yes.
Going in these wars.
That's right.
But you're just totally out of it back then.
Please, Sarah.
Camera.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Get 30 for the camera.